Alright, put on your furs and boiled leathers and toss a log in your hearth, because we're headed to the North of Westeros. The North is huge, stretching from coast to coast across the continent and taking up almost half the total mass of Westeros. Despite its size though, its population is one of the smallest of any of the regions. In real life terms, the closest thing you could probably compare it to would be Canada or Russia. Most of the area is borderline unlivable because of its brutally cold temperatures that range from cold and wet marshes at the neck to almost Arctic temperatures by the time you get all the way up to the wall. While crops are feasible despite the cold weather, most food is garnered by the North's vast amount of wildlife via hunting and trapping. A lot of the North's economy is based on trading skins and furs as well. While the Wall is easily the North's most impressive landmark and greatest protection, the almost impassable bogs at the neck, save for the King's Road, have served the North well throughout history to keep out southern attacks. The capital of the North is of course none other than the home of the Starks, Winterfell. It lies almost as close to the center of the region as you can get, and while it's an incredibly strong fortress, it lacks access to the North's Grand Coast. Likewise though, any army wishing to attack Winterfell is going to be exhausted by the long journey to it on foot. The castle itself is built on a series of hot springs, with the water being piped up through the walls of the living quarters to keep them warm. Its most notable features would have to be the crypts beneath Winterfell that house the graves of the past members of House Stark, and the Godswood within the castle's boundaries. Now, because of Robb's rebellion, we get to meet a lot of the other houses in the North. We have the hard-headed Umbers of Last Hearth, the proud Karstarks of Carhold, the honorable Mormonts of Bear Island, the loyal Glovers of Deepwood Motte, the reluctant Manderleys of White Harbor, the crafty Reeds of Greywater Watch at the Neck, but of course, the cruel Boltons of the Dreadfort. With the exception of a few houses such as the Manderleys, almost all citizens of the North are descended from the First Men, rather than the Andals like the people in the South. As such, most keep to the Old Gods, an ancient nature-based religion, which is loosely based on real-life paganism. Because Knights of Westeros have to be named in the light of the Seven, a Northman can't become a knight without converting, and more than likely moving south to serve a house that actually worships the Seven. Most warriors of the North, rather than being named a knight, simply remain cavalrymen that essentially serve their lords in the same way that knights do, but don't adhere to the same religious practices. In terms of the day-to-day lives of the people that live there, the Stark's words of "winter is coming" is something that everyone in the North, highborn or lowborn, takes to heart. The years of summer are spent preparing for the winter ahead, and a lot of care is taken to preserve food and fortify shelter against the long winters that kill hundreds to thousands of those that aren't prepared. Life up there is deathly serious, and it doesn't lean well to frivolities like jousting tournaments and grand balls. Alrighty, it's time to break out those spoilers. For this video, it'll include everything up to the end of Season 3 of the TV series, with a couple of mild spoilers for all the way up until the end of A Dance with Dragons. If you don't want to hear about it, no worries, just skip ahead to the next video on the playlist. Alrighty, spoilers in 3, 2, 1. Okay, so regardless of the fact that my next video will be about the Starks, we all know which house is ruling the North right now. Winterfell has been all but destroyed, with all 4 of its remaining heirs split up across the world. Most of the Stark loyalists that went south with Robb never came back after the Red Wedding, and the land itself is being torn apart by a 3-way political war of Stannis, Roose Bolton, and the Iron Islanders. And with winter about to start and an army of White Walkers knocking at the North's back wall, it's definitely the last place that I'd want to be right now. The North's future has never been more clouded. Even if Bran, Rickon, Sansa, or Arya reveal themselves as having returned there really isn't a Winterfell to rule the North from anymore, nor are there many left that would back up their claim. I'm really excited to see what will happen when Stannis' army finally meets the Boltons in open combat, and to see what the hell Rickon and Osha have been up to. So that's it for this time. Bash that subscribe button so you don't miss the next video when we meet the Wardens of the North, House Stark.